In a few weeks, Nigeria would again be celebrating her Democracy Day. And with the definition of terms, there is no democracy without the people. At this time in history, with regards to Nigeria's politics and recent elections, the people comprise majorly of a vibrant youth, deeply involved in the nation's polity, from party affiliations to youth movements. And the question is, how much of this youth participation has influenced Nigeria's polity so far? Other questions will evolve around how can the nation at this moment truly boast of effective citizenry? How can this effective citizenry, with reference to the youths, serve as panacea for good leadership and national growth? This will form the basis of our deliberations today. I bid you welcome to Channels Beam, where curiosity meets conversations, taking us a step further into the future we desire. I'm Sunas Nathaniel, and on this episode of the program, we'll be beaming our lights on youth movements and how effective citizenry can serve as solutions to the issues of leadership and growth in Nigeria. Joining me remotely right now to dissect the issues inherent in these topics are two gentlemen. The first being Dr. Alaye Theophilus, who's president of the Ijaw Youth Council Worldwide. He joins us all the way from Port Harcourt, if I'm not mistaken. Dr. Theophilus, you're welcome. All right, I'm hoping he can sort out the audio there. Also joining us from Delta State is Mr. Elvis Akwobi, who is the founder and executive director of the Not Too Young to Lead initiative, an acclaimed grassroots movement that serves as an inspiration to young Nigerians, urging them to assume leadership. Gentlemen, you're welcome. I'm hoping you can hear me clearly.
Yes, we can
Very
hear you
well.
clearly.
Thanks for having me.
All right, beautiful. Let us start off with the basis. Let us start off with the basis quickly. Let us go straight to the question. I want to start with Mr. Akwobi because I want us to set the tone for the definitions here. What really do you mean, or do we mean when we say, when we talk effective citizenry? What are we saying? I'm talking to Mr. Akwobi right now. What does it entail? Go ahead.
For me, effective citizenry has to do with people who know what they want, like their rights. People whose actions and inactions, whose growth and all that is regulated by their passion to make whatever habitat, whatever state, whatever country they are from better. For me, it's a symbiotic relationship where people who make up a particular place play a role towards making that place grow, and the policymakers in that place play a role back towards making those citizenry, towards making those people feel better and grow.
All right. I think
So
that's a very good place to start off. Maybe you have to just even take just in 1 minute. Tell us, how does this, effectively contribute? Like, what are the things we can see when the citizenry is effective?
effective citizenry is a byproduct of good leadership. You agree with me that over the years, once the issue of Nigeria comes up, you hear we have bad leadership, our leaders are not good. There are cases, even, my Catholic, and there are cases I've been to church, you say, prayer for Nigeria in distress, prayer for our leaders and all that. For me, it doesn't take, the God I serve does not take that long to answer prayers. And for me, we shouldn't be praying for good leadership when we don't have good citizenry. We should be praying and working towards being better citizens. That will be a byproduct of good leadership, because the people that we call leaders that are not treating us right today, the people that have fallen short of what leadership should look like today, they didn't fall from the sky. These are people shaped by their environment. They have classmates, they have relations and all that. So for me, there were times too where in school they will tell you citizen education, civic education and all that. But lately, that's not a priority of our educational system again. When people go about, do things they like, and then they get away with it, you find out that the effective citizen, the graph of a good citizen is declined. So if we have effective citizenship, if we have effective citizenry, I'm very, very positive that we'll have good leadership.
All right.
And if we have good leadership, our nation, our Nigeria, Africa will develop.
Okay, we're going to come back to you. I want to go to Dr. Alaye. the Ijaw Youth Council is one of those people who have been pushing strictly, for this participation of the citizens in, bringing in about leadership, good leadership, especially within the Niger Delta and the South region. I want to ask you, with regards to the Ijaw Youth Council right now, how effective has it been, using the youth as the tool, as the vehicle, to channel that development within the region? How effective has it been?
Thank you very much. One thing we need to understand about contemporary democracy and politics is that in the Nigeria political trend, if you look at it, youth has the highest number in terms of percentage that is participating in the political space. However, youth are not given the opportunity to hold sensitive positions that will really implement good leadership. IYC as a council over time, we have participated and we have sensitized, advocated for youth inclusiveness in governance. And that is why you see that if you come to the South and the Niger Delta, the IYC don't just speak for the Ijaw people, not just for the Ijaw youth, but the entire youth of the Niger Delta. How can we be incorporated into good governance? How can youth be part of leadership as being the position of IYC? And when you talk about effective citizenry, we are talking about how citizens participate with integrity, how youth participate or carry out Nigeria affairs with some form of character. In the Nigerian political space, character don't count anymore. Integrity don't count anymore. And that has been a serious challenge. When we talk about effective citizenry, we are talking about those that want to carry Nigeria and sacrifice for Nigeria, irrespective of who is going to be affected. But today, when we look at the political space, mediocrity, praise singing has been the order of the day. So citizens that ought to partake and speak truth to power in the political space in terms of youth are no longer available. We are finding it very difficult, and that is why you see that godfatherism, as we speak, has been the order of the day. Just of recent, just this week, why the IYC and the entire Ijaw nation celebrates the late Azigboro, who declared the 12 days Niger Delta Republic. We had a security summit where all the ethnic youth presidents of the entire Niger Delta come together to see how we can sustain the peace in the Niger Delta. And we talk about leadership and youth involvement in governance, because youth has always been the bearing part of the age grade in Nigeria. If there is bad governance, the youth are more impacted than any other age group. If there is good governance, it's also the youth that are going to benefit. Presently, like Nigeria, that we are talking about unemployment. The unemployment we are talking about affects the youth more than any other age group. And that is why you see that good citizenry has to do with the youth, and youth involvement in governance is what we as a people has always been advocating for. And that is why you see that
I want to take you from there quickly. I like that you have brought in that, because I know that recently the IJC signed a statement with regards to what was happening within the Niger Delta, specifically in Rivers State. I want you to speak about that. How is that affecting, especially the youth within the region? What is your impact? What do you want to impact in Rivers State right now as regards what's happening, the feud between the governor rather and the FCT minister?
Thank you very much. The Rivers State matter is one issue that from the onset that it happened, we have been clamoring and running around to see how we can have what we call political stability in Rivers State. Rivers State is one state that is very, very important to the stability of the entire Niger Delta, because it's the political headquarters of the Niger Delta. Be that as it may, when you come out talk about economic activities, political instability sends wrong signal to investors. We are not still far from the experience that we got from Warri Delta State, when the Warri crisis happened and all the IOCs relocated their head offices from Rivers, from Warri to some other places like Lagos and all the rest. So as youth, we want investors to come into the Niger Delta. And the best way that we believe that can be achieved is when we are having political stability. And that is why you see that the IYC as the mother youth organization in the entire Niger Delta, we have been galvanizing, reaching out to all youth organizations within the River State in order for the youth not to be used as political thugs to cause mayhem. That is why you see that we have been trying to call the attention of Mr. President, being the leader of the politics of Nigeria, to call those political gladiators that are his followers in the state to give peace a chance. We as youth, we wouldn't want a River State that is in crisis, that investors will pull out. That is going to be disadvantage to the youth of the Niger Delta and the River State.
All right.
And that is why you see that we have been at the forefront trying to see how we can also give sensitization to the youth to galvanize support for the governor, support him in every area in terms of security, in terms of trying to calm the environment so that good signal can be sent and not to put fear into investors that want to come. Even the blue economy, we are having green light. Investors are ready to come to the Niger Delta, especially River State, Akwa Ibom State, Bayelsa State, Delta State, to see how they can upgrade and benefit with the coastal road project that is coming. We believe that there are going to be a lot of beach and settlements.
All right.
There are going to be a lot of foreign investors, and that will count to the economy of the region.
Okay.
But when we
Dr. Alaye, I want to hold you on that thought a bit, because we're going to come back to you so that you can go fully into why how the youth can bring peace to that region. But I want to come quickly in just 1 minute to Mr. Elvis, and I'm going to ask you. You talk about history, and you also spoke about citizenship education. How much of that do we need right now? I mean, to bring back that love for Nigeria, that passion that can give effective citizenry. How much of that do we need right now?
For me, I think this is a time where Nigeria is in dire need of good citizenship, which will in turn better leadership. Like I said before, now sometimes we've been complaining about bad leadership, which seems to be one of the ingredients that have kept us back as Nigerians. If at the moment, if for a nation that is blessed with rich human resource and natural resources, and it seems as if our best brain has been used to grow the Western countries, then we should sit back and ask ourselves, what's our unifying factors as Nigerians? What unifies us as a people? Do we subscribe towards ethnicity? Are we divided by ethnicity, religion, and all that? But for me, I always tell people, any platform I find myself, that firstly, I'm a Nigerian before I became an Urobo and a Deltan. So the interest of Nigeria should be key in everything we're doing. So for me, I want to urge, like my colleague there talked about, every youth body that the future of Nigeria lies in our hands, and our actions and inactions will determine what Nigeria will look like in the nearest future.
All right, let's hold it there. That our action is going to take us to what Nigeria will look like in the nearest future. We're going to be going on a short break at this time. And when we return, we'll be probing further into the place of the Nigerian youth in re-establishing good leadership and fostering national development. Don't go away. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching Channels Beam, coming to you live from our studios in Abuja. Dr. Alaye Theophilus and Mr. Elvis Akobi are our guests today. And we're still looking at effective citizenry as a panacea for good leadership and national growth. And I want to begin this session with Dr. Theophilus, because the Ijaw people have been known for a certain struggle. And then the question would be, where is the IJC in that struggle for the Ijaw nation right now? What does it look like, especially because it's a youthful movement? What does it look like right now?
Frankly speaking, the Ijaw IYC as an organization over time has always stand, and that is what I was even trying to let you understand. In Bayelsa State, the only homogeneous Ijaw state in the Niger Delta, under the past Governor Senator Doyediri, where we have over 70% youth participation, both in position of commissioner, essays, and even agencies. That is what we are trying to see. How are we preparing our youth to take over position of power? How are we preparing our youth to engage them in place of power, position of trust? And Bayelsa State and the Ijaw formal IYC leadership and other Ijaw leaders came in to give the governor those advice, and it was implemented. And we see that youth, in their little way, contributed effectively. Tomorrow, next tomorrow, if there are other higher positions that will be given to them, we believe that they can do very well. And IYC as an organization over time has always stand in to see how we can build synergy between governors and youth. In areas of engaging and interfacing with IOCs, the IYC has always been at the forefront. As a pressure group, we want youth participation in every area that has to do with youth involvement and youth training. Secondly, when you come to the issues of the River State and politics of the Niger Delta and the contemporary Nigerian states in general, you will see that the political godfathers doesn't really want the youth to have a space, and that has been a very serious burden. Citizenry participation, youth participation in governance, we really have to do what we call about characterization. Youth characterization and integrity coming to play is one way that we believe that those issues can easily be solved. Today, we have a youth governor in River State, but those political gladiators wouldn't allow a youth governor of the likes of the incumbent governor to have space, because they really want to be always dictating for the youth. They believe that the youth are tools that they will use the way they want. And the IYC is telling them that no, what we need as a people is good governance and youth involvement. Incorporate youth into a position of trust, and you will see that there will be relative peace in our society. Incorporate youth into areas that has to do with governance and leadership, and you will see that there will be relative peace in those societies.
Right.
And that is why you see that we have been trying to call the attention of Mr. President and look, the peace of River State and every other Niger Delta state is very, very important to the IYC and the entire youth of the Niger Delta.
All right.
By so doing, we believe that investors, because governments of a state or federal cannot create all the needed employment opportunities, but it is the private sector that are the drivers of employment. So if we create a stable political environment, investors are going to go, because the signal there is green, that this place is good for investment.
Okay.
We want to see how we can explore our blue economy. How do we do that? Involve youth in political participation, give them position of trust, give them the needed platforms that they can handle, and with them, we believe that a lot of other youth will have that sense of belonging, that there is hope for us in this state, in this country, and you will see that people will be relaxed.
All right. I want to hold you there. I want to hold you there, Dr. Theophilus. I know you have so many things to push as regards the youth agenda. I want to go straight to Mr. Elvis, because you are very keen about youths taking leadership. And that's what Dr. Theophilus has been saying. Looking at the government so far, I mean the present administration, how much of youth participation have you seen that is working right now? How much of the youth do you think is really taking charge? And, within the government right now, what would you rate it? You're one who wants to initiate that move for the young people to get into power. So how would you rate it right now?
Okay, for me, we can't bend Nigeria into the shape we want immediately, but we can bend the slice of it. I think gradually we're getting there. Charity, they say, begins at home. I'm a proud Delta, and at the moment, Delta State is blessed with a youth-centric governor, Right Honorable, His Excellency Right Honorable Sheriff Ebere, who on inception has given young persons the privilege to be commissioners and appointed special advisors that are young and that are productive. But over time, we keep talking about the fact that we want the young people to be in policy making positions. We want people to be on the driver's seat. But each time, I always ask myself, the who are these young people who want to be in critical positions like this? Because there's a case of a particular former governor today that who seems to be on the run for gross misconduct and all that. So the advocacy has moved from just young people to young people who are responsive, accountable, who are in sync with character, capacity, and competence. Because we don't want to be measured with negativity of people who didn't do well again. That is for Delta State. The young persons they are happy. They've been given privilege by the governor to come on board. Back to Nigeria, I'll still commend as a nation. I'll commend President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We've seen a young commissioner of youth. We've seen other young people. I have a friend who's the DG of SMEDA. I have another young commissioner for youth, minister for youth, states, and other critical positions. My take is to all these young persons that have been given these platforms, they should not just subscribe to nomenclature, but they should subscribe to productivity, because their actions and inactions, whether open doors or shut doors, for other young people to come on board.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's a very good one. I'm going to come to two of you now, as because you guys are from, there's Delta, there's River State, there's Bayelsa, all around. You guys are from the Niger Delta. What will be the move that you think, before you go? I want to talk to Mr. Elvis first, and then I'll end with Dr. Theophilus. What do you think is the move for the youths within the Niger Delta region today, as to reposition that region when it comes to Nigeria's polity? What do you think is the move for them?
Currently, as a youth advocate that has even influenced young people to be ministers in Liberia and other African countries with the Not Too Young to Lead initiative, we are organizing. We believe that it takes more than just talking on social media, advocating. We need to. I'm a privileged policymaker, so we need to go into action. So at the moment, we are preparing for intergenerational dialogue where veterans leaders, mostly, I'm starting with Delta State. There's veterans leaders from Delta State will be on the same table with emerging leaders. Let's ask ourselves how we fared as a state, where we didn't do well. Let's bring on the experience of those veterans leaders where they did very well. Then we use our digital skills and energy to move our state forward. We can make that on a broader platform with Niger Delta. And I think with dialogue, with collaboration, we'll get it right.
All right.
As a region.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Elvis. I want to throw that same question in 30 seconds to 1 minute. Dr. Theophilus, what would be the move for the young people in the Niger Delta right now?
The best thing I believe we need to do is to, first of all, give youth the needed sensitization. Because the Not Too Young to Run rule that came to play in 2019, the youth failed just because we don't have confidence in ourselves. So first of all, I believe that the youth of the region and Nigeria at large need some form of sensitization, because their fear of the unknown is a very big problem in the political space. We don't have to deceive ourselves. If you tell us today that you are bringing a 40-year-old man in order for Nigerian youth to vote, they will go to the direction that will pay more. But Nigerian politics has been monetized, and that is why you see that youth find it very difficult to get into a position of trust. Secondly, the last presidential election also told us.
Let's wrap it up quickly, sir. Just in 30 seconds, quick one.
That is hope for the youth if we have good policies that we can sell to our electorate and our people. While we are calling on those in position of power, like those in corridor of power, like the governors and the president and other local government chairmen, to incorporate youth, irrespective of who have failed as a youth leader, you must give other youths opportunity until we get it right. That's just my position.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me. It's been a very wonderful one. Thank you very much. We hope to see more youths participate in governance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
All right. All right. That's the much we can take. We're going to be drawing the curtains on the episode of this beam right now. And thank you all who's been watching and joining us. Please continue to follow the conversations using the hashtag ChannelsBeam and Channels TV News. We're going to be looking out for what you have to say about this. I'm Sunes Nathaniel. And before we go, I thought to remind you that the people will always get the government they deserve. If we want good governance, we need to start from each of us. Bye for now.